you're wondering what's going on across the street, that is our amphitheater across the street, and we have outdoor concerts there. Today is open because of this evening, because of the overcrowdedness. So there's some refreshments in the back. If you'd like to go over there, there are about 14 benches with names of famous African Americans, some from the city of Deland and others from, well-known history African American people. So you can welcome to go across the street and enjoy that, just sitting on the benches and having some refreshments. But the second person I'm going to ask is Shelley. Come on up, Shelley. Tell them a little bit about you, and you have some quilts here, so let them know a little bit about you. And have you talked with anyone already?
Yes. Well, my name is Shelley, and I don't have my quilt. I'm part of the quilting group.
Okay.
And Lauren says, Shelley, you need to show your dolls. Mm-hmm. So I have some dolls there.
Yeah, those are her dolls there.
And I've been in Florida about 3 years, and I just taught myself how to crochet.
Okay, great.
So I've been crocheting about 2 years, and I made a quilt before. Yeah. A quilt, I made an AIDS quilt that's kind of traveling in the United States with different pieces of AIDS patients. My retirement, so since I just relocated, my retirement dream is, because you have to move the house so my retirement dream is to leave my children a quilt, the dress I breastfed in, the dress I gave, went and gave birth in, my grandmother's, dress. So that's how that's my plan. But I have my
quilt, and there's something dolls, and there's something special about your dolls because they. The modern mass side.
The modern mass, and where we live in the Pascal with wires, I just have them all around. I just so, my dolls have beads, and as I progress and learn more about dolls, I've been looking at eyes in the books, and you have to translate the eyes into needle and thread, because I want them to be looking far, wide, so.
Great, that's awesome.
I have to hone in here, because as it is always with us, we are learning and we are doing, and we kind of downplay that a little bit, because as women, that's what we're taught to do. But Shelley is a master crocheter, sculptor, and she figured out, if you look at the people very carefully, they have incredibly expressive faces and noses, which are not in the patterns that you can buy. That she figured that out herself. The hair is beyond what crochet dolls look like, okay? And is very much the hair of our people. And that those are artistic decisions and that Shelley made, and I just want to uplift that, because that is what she brings to the table and shares with the people in the group, and is just amazing.
The next person on the list is going to be Lisa. Lisa Moore. Yay. All right, Lisa. Tell them a little bit. As we walk around, they have a little for you.
Okay, so just how I started.
How you started a few minutes, yes.
Okay. All right. Hi. Thank you all for coming. I've always had a passion for quilting, a passion for sewing, which translated into quilting, and the story begins once my brother-in-law passed away. So I knew that I wanted something for his children to hold on to. So, and actually I have the quilts outside in the amphitheater. So the weekend that he passed away, I told my sister, I said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make a quilt for all of the kids. And she literally just grabbed just random items, random clothing. But when I presented them with the quilts, it was not random at all. One of the shirts that that's in the quilt for my niece had bought it for her dad a couple years for Father's Day before he passed away. And then other quilts, they had other pieces had significant meaning. One of the shirts that's in a quilt for my nephew, my brother-in-law wore that when he did his first sermonette. So for me, from that experience to some of the pieces that you see here, it's all about that connection, and I keep calling it putting all the pieces together, because I've used a lot of scraps, like this is one of my pieces, and I use scraps or pieces of fabric that have been donated to the Heritage Center. All of my pieces have fabric from the Heritage Center. So it's just putting those pieces together, telling our story, telling my story. So I am blessed to be amongst these talented women. Some days I'm like, what am I doing here? Because they are so talented and so amazing. So enjoy. Everyone puts their heart into everything that they do. And these are just little pieces of all of us that you are viewing today. So.
Because you ladies like to work together and you like to cook together, so it's like a time of therapy for you at times.
For me, it's very therapeutic. Like I was saying, when I did the quilts for my nieces and nephews, I was healing pieces of myself that I didn't even know needed to be healed. So just grabbing those pieces and just putting it all, and that's why I just keep calling everything, just putting all the pieces together, just grabbing stuff from here to there, and it has, when it comes together, it has a significant meaning. So for me, all of my pieces will always be putting the pieces together, but it might be titled something else, just depending on whatever is going on in my life. So.
Thank you so much. Cynthia Moses. Cynthia.
Hi. I'm Cynthia Moses. It was my first time ever quilting. I walked into the quilting group, met a nice lady that's so encouraging, Lauren, and I didn't know what to do, but I did share with her a picture, because I guess I was looking at my city that I grew up in all my life, and without telling my age, I'm seeing it just melt away, my community. And so I was encouraged by my community to create a picture, 40 acres and a mule.
Great name.
And it's right behind
And
you,
that's
right there.
behind me.
Beautiful.
And it just brought back memories of that community.
And that community would be?
Winter Park, Florida. I grew up there. I was born there. I grew up there. I went away for 13 years and came back there. I'm inhabiting there now. My family is from Winter Park, Florida. Not Georgia, not any other state. We're Winter Park, Florida, and Kissimmee, Florida. The Silas, Lawrence Silas Boulevard and Kissimmee. We're between Seminole Indians and blacks. So it just brought back memories of my community. My 40 acres and a mule.
Cynthia. Next we have Pamela Bussey. And Pamela has a couple of quilts hanging on the racks as well. She has a couple of quilts around the room as well. Make sure you ask her some questions.
Good afternoon, everybody. First, I want to say thank you all so much for coming. And as the women have said who've spoken before me, we all came together because we have a common interest in telling our stories. And all of our quilts, in fact, do tell a story, particularly mine, but that's, you can ask some questions. In any event, I learned how to sew at a very early age. My mother taught me how to sew, probably like when I was 10, 11 years old. I made clothes for Barbie dolls, and I never took an art class except for art history. But then thanks to Jane Turner, who's right there in front of me, and Alima Pamela Watson, who isn't here, they took a batik class, which Shalini Tandon in Orlando. And they asked me to take a class with them, but at that time I was belly dancing. I took a belly dance class. So I couldn't do batik that year, but I did do it the following year. And I think also, Michelle, you did batik with Shalini as well? Yeah. So there were a bunch of us, you know, I tried the batik, I enjoyed it, and I incorporate batik, and I have a sewing embroidery machine, and traveling, I love to travel, and I collect fabric from all the places that I've been, and so I try to incorporate a little bit of that into all of my quilts. So yes, please ask questions.
Okay, that's kind of jack of all trades. Okay. Okay, we just had Pam. Okay, Linda Alexander. Linda has quite a few pieces around here, and make sure you see there's quite a few. One is I see through, what's the name?
I see through my eyes.
Okay, and another one.
Fire hydrant.
Fire hydrant.
Ladies.
Ladies in
Tree
the
of
car.
life.
Tree of life.
I had a dream.
I had a dream. So that's some of her quilts, so make sure you see them. Okay.
All right. My story, my name is Linda Mills Alexander. And my story is basically, I met that lady, this lady, and that lady at an art show. And I was a painter. And I started painting when I was going through cancer. I had cancer, and I was going through very traumatic chemo, and to keep my mind off of it, I started painting. And then when I met these ladies, they told me about quilt art and telling my story. I got interested in that, and Lauren told me about, you don't have to cut out a square or a rectangle. You can just slap that material on there, whichever way you know how.
Now, don't be giving away the secret.
Too late, too late. Got it.
And tell your story. So basically, that's how I got started with the quilting, and the Hannibal Heritage Center, where I met Barbara and all these ladies, Pam, and they were just, it was just fantastic. I was in awe, okay? And that's how I started. But my mom was a sewer, and I always knew how to sew, and I could sew a skirt, but putting art on a piece of material was a different story, and I never took an art class in my life. I just, that helped me go through what I had to go through.
Excellent.
The next person is Marva Sloan, and I'll tell you about Marva. Marva and I attend the same church. And I would see her in church, and I'll probably say hi, or we would just nod at each other. But when I found out that she was a quilter, and I knew that she was going to be part of the show, but I had no idea that she was going to walk through that door one day, and I looked at her and I said, I know you. And she looked at me and she says, I know you. I said, we go to the same church. So all we did was say hi and all of that during that time, but now I know her even better. So that's a great honor to know her at this, at this time. So let's share your story, please.
I love butterflies. My name is Marva Sloan, and I fell in love with quilting. My pastor and them had gone to Haiti on a mission trip, And he came back with pictures of an orphanage, and I looked at the kids' bedroom, which was deplorable, the bedding. And I laid in bed that night and I just cried, and I said, I gotta do something about that. So I got on YouTube. I'm a YouTuber now, right? So I got on YouTube and I learned how to make my first quilt, and I made 20-something quilts and sent them to Haiti. But during that process, I fell in love with quilting. So I would just make all these tops and tops and tops because I didn't know what to do after that. So I went to a show at the Heritage Center one day, and this lady there, I can't remember her name, was showing all of this fabric art, and she was calling it a quilt. I go, that's not a quilt. That's a whatever. I'm used to flying geese, triangles and all of that. I can do that with that. And so then I spoke to Barbara Chandler, and I said, is there a black quilting guild somewhere around? And she goes, well, you need to talk to that lady, which is now my mentor. So I spoke to her and I asked her about it. She said, well, just come to our meeting on Saturdays. So I went there, and then they start talking about story quilting. I'm like, story quilting? What's that? And so then I YouTubed what story quilting was. And so some of my pieces are, this is the fabric sampler. Call me a fabric hoarder because I have a problem with throwing fabric in the trash when I feel like it. And during COVID, I made hundreds and hundreds of masks. And I had all these little scraps of fabric, and I was about to throw them away, and I go, well, you can do something with that. So that came out of that. And then this is my African queen. I started out with just a small block, and I kept adding to it and adding to it.
How long did that take?
Several months.
Oh, okay.
Several
A little bit
months.
at a time.
Right.
Little bit at a time.
Yeah. And behind you, Adrian, if you can hold that picture up that's on the table. Okay. Look at that's a picture of me at 11 years old when I was being baptized. So I recreated that picture into my first story. And I called it My Spirit is Free. And one reason I did that, during my lifetime, I've been through a lot of tragedies or heartbreaks or illusion, but there's something, a part of me that could never be touched. And that was the spirit when I accepted Christ.
You know that.
So then that's why I named that My Spirit is Free. Because regardless of what I go through, and believe me, it's been a traumatic at times, there's a center inside of me that nobody can touch. That's
right.
And so I named that My Spirit is Free.
God is good. God is good.
Yeah, you want to see. Okay, look, Lauren is going to share with you information about Pamela Edwards, who's not here today, but that's her, she's there.
Yeah.
So if you can kind of like just open up a little bit.
Yeah. This piece is Remembrance of Life, and Pamela Edwards couldn't be here today. She was going on vacation to Alaska, and but she really wanted this piece to be here, especially after I told her about your involvement with the EJI and the Volusia Remembers project, and that one of the urns, the jars with earth, will be here in the museum. Pamela then spent the next 3 or 4 days working on this piece to get it done. And she brought it to me yesterday or last night around 10:30 at night, so that it could be part of this exhibit and part of this museum, because it is a testament to EJI's project to remember all of our people who were lynched. And earth from each of the sites is being collected and sent to the museum in Montgomery, Alabama. And there will be earth from Volusia County going there. And that earth will be here for a little bit. And so when she heard that, and I told her about your involvement, she was just like, and her husband was like, wait a minute, you gotta pack for our trip. And she's like, not now. Not now, you have to wait. So I think she packed at 3 in the morning, but I think they got on the plane. That's my understanding. But the thing is that I want people to also understand that in quilt world, which not everybody knows, but quilt world is, like all of America, very segregated. And there is much tension when you are a black quilter and you go to white quilt world and your stuff just looks so different. Your stuff is just from another place, another culture, another world. And so it's very hard. And there's often people who are nice and there's other people who aren't. And all of us in this group have had that kind of experience. And Pamela is also an expert piecer, and she is also expert in applique. And what she told me was, when we talked about this, and I'm like, everybody's putting something in, okay? Everybody's putting something in. And she told me that in all of the years of her quilting, that she had never been exhibited in any of the guilds she'd been a member of. Wow. And when you see her work, and this is simply one example, that is amazing to hear and incredible to hear, because her work is so wonderful. And when I had, you've got a piece in this one, and you will be in every one we do for now until the end of time. And this really is what we strive for, and we hope for, and we have, and that's our fellowship. Billy is the Sankofa bird, and I call it because it's mine. This is mine, you can't have it. We met Billy when the group and Barbara and people from the Heritage Center went to Jacksonville for Gulagichi celebration. And Billy had a booth with her quilts, and I think I ran up to her and sat down, and I spent the whole day there, okay? Because she is a prolific fiber sculptor and quilter, and her stuff is enormous. She makes everything from found objects and cast off clothing and fabric, and turns it into just amazing, amazing work. She was one of the people in our group who was sending me photos through COVID, photos upon photos, sometimes at 3 in the morning. Look what I just finished, you know, and that, I want my group to know how much you held me together during COVID, how much you all held me together by sending me texts and photos and phone calls and Zoom calls and all that we did. Billy is, I think, a native of the American Beach area and knows that history incredibly well and writes about it and makes work about it. And this is the Sankofa bird, which Sankofa is an Akan symbol and saying and understanding that you need to know where you come from to know where you're going. So the bird is always looking backwards, though it's flying forwards. And that's why.
Excellent.
So I bought this from her that first day.
You want to show it?
And
Okay, double.
Make me a Walmart parent.
we will be doing more things, and then I'm sure that we will be able to get Billy here next time. And she has so many pieces, and you have to beg her, like I did.
Okay.
That's why this one.
All
Wonderful.
Change your mind.
Okay, I think it would, I guess I can tell. Why not? Okay. I'm going to be the featured artist at the Deland Fall Festival this year. I'm not really sure if I'm supposed to say it, but one of the board members will be supposed to.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, two of them. And I'm doing a series of work about Black people in nature and our relationship with nature and specifically with birds. So I hope that you will come to that, and lots of things are going on, and this is just the beginning.
Yes, that is Kelly, that's November 20th and the 21st.
Yes.
Saturday and a Sunday.
And then there'll be a talk that Lauren will do at the Athens Theater September 2nd.
September 2nd, yeah.
Mhm.
And we're gonna unveil the poster and show the artwork that's gonna be on the t-shirts and the posters.
So you
So
can, I
please
guess,
come to that.
yeah, you can tune in at the website, the Land Fall Festival, go online and check it out online and know about all the different activities. So, you know what, it has been an awesome, awesome afternoon. And thank you so much for coming, and let's just give another round of applause.
I have to say just one more thing, that this woman here has single-handedly pulled this museum through COVID, with help, for sure with help, but without her vision and her drive, it wouldn't work. And you helped me in the beginning of my career here in Florida, and you have helped me all along with love, and it's just so amazing.
They'll be here a month, so you can ask them questions. We have refreshments in the back, so as we get it ready, just come in the back and, get some refreshments. If you don't want to leave, the amphitheater is open. We have 14 benches, as I said before, of famous African Americans, some from Deland and some from other, historical people. So go there with your refreshments and just enjoy across the street if you like. There's a bathroom across the street as well.
Is there more work across the street? More quilts across the street?
Well, yes, who has the quilt? Lisa has her quilt out across the street.
How long will this be here?
It will be here until October 2nd, Saturday, October 2nd. So please tell all your friends about it and have them come out to our museum so they'll know that we are here. So share that with them. And if you signed our guest book, you will get all of our activities. You will get them from, from here forth. You will get all of our activities that's happening here. We are scheduled to have a jazz fest, Dr. Noble Thinman wants Jazz Fest. October 16th, we have it every year in the amphitheater. So we're planning for it again this year, so look for that flyer or something in the mail pertaining to the Jazz Fest.
No problem.
So thank you again. So
Thank you.
we're gonna go in the bag and get some refreshments, so just start to come in.